and the community of Shuva Israel for having us, Be'ezat Hashem. Today, this class we're doing a special memorial for Adon Gabriel Navon, his father, Zichron Tzadik Livracha, Aharon ben Zohara. It's 11 years to his passing, and also Be'ezat Hashem will add my mother, Zichron Livracha, Rachel bat Rabbi Chaim, and she's 16 years. Vechana bat Frecha, Be'ezat Hashem. Avicha? Dan ben Moshe. And Be'ezat Hashem also will do for the safety of all the soldiers in Israel, and to Be'ezat Hashem redeem and bring home all the hostages and refuah shlema to all the petzuim and petzuot, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu reveal Mashiach to us very soon, Be'ezat Hashem. You know, we come into, Kama sheyoter mahar. Vayihi בשלח פרעה, right? This is it. We're here in the Galut now, coming out. The Torah asks a question. The Gemara, says, what is Vayihi בשלח פרעה? So we know every time the Gemara says, when he said Vayihi, Ba'ayot is a problem. But you know what's Ba'aya in Hebrew? Be'ezratiyah. There is always a solution. There is no problem without a solution. Wow. No such thing. God will never give you anything He cannot handle. Guaranteed. Vayehi, as we said, Ba'ayot. Vehaya is the letter of Hashem. Yud Hei Vav Hei. It's already guaranteed success. The question is asking the Gemara, our sage says, why he says Vayihi בשלח פרעה? Paro did not send them. It's HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Anuchi, ani velo malach, me and not an angel. Why would Hashem give this so-called privilege to Pharaoh? So you know, it says in the Gemara, every time you see the word Am, it says Vayihi v'shalach Paro et ha'am. It's not Bnei Israel. Every time you see Am in the Torah, is the Goim. Erev Rav yatza'ala itam. The Egyptian, right? The Torah has, for the people of Israel, it's always Bnei Israel or Ami, my nation. For all the Erev Rav is Amcha or Am. Moshe Rabbeinu, as we know, the Zohara will teach us something amazing. Moshe Rabbeinu took with him the Erev Rav without asking Hashem. He didn't say, Hashem, can I take all the Egyptian with me? You know, Egypt at the time is like America. All the world is here. There was no food in the world. Everybody came. Yosef basically owned everything. And they're all now living because Egypt is destroyed. Right? We had Makat Bechorot. All the 10 plagues, Kamuvan, everything is destroyed. Moshe takes with him all this Erev Rav. Question is asked why? And why Hashem let him? So you know, Moshe, in Shara Gilguli, in the Marchu, the student, Rabbi Chaim Vital, the student of Rabbi Arizal HaKadosh, says something amazing. He said that Moshe Rabbeinu is a Gilgul of Hevel. Moshe is Moshe, Hevel, and Shet. Right? When Cain murdered Hevel, Dameh achicha tzoakim elai min ha'adama, the bloods, meaning the generations to come, calling upon me from the earth. Moshe took all of those damecha. Noach is a portion, not the full neshama. Very good. It says that, you know, Moshe Rabbeinu took them. Now the Gemara has actually few opinion how many came out. Chamushim alu me'eretz Yisrael, 20%. We know that the Hebrews in Makat Choshech, there were 15 million Hebrews. 80% did not want to leave. In the first 3 days, we know Makat Choshech, came the angels and buried 80, which is 12 million Hebrews in Makat Choshech. 3 million will come out. So one said that for every Hebrew, one Erev Rav came out. The other one says Chamushim, 50 for everyone. Some say 5 for everyone. You know, Yaakov Avinu, Zichron Tzadik Livracha, when he had the dream of the ladder. Nahon, if you remember, Behara Moriah, he left the house of his parents, heading towards Lavan. Hashem, Vayivga' b'makom. Hashem said, no, you have to stop here. And Hashem tells him, I will take care of you, I will feed you, I'll clothe you, in a dream. That's the first prophecy, so to speak. Yaakov Avinu wakes up, then he makes his own vow, neder. And he says to Hashem by words, if you take care of me, I'll give you 20%. Aser asrenu lach. Says the Zohara Kadosh, what Yaakov? But Hashem needs 20%. He gives us 100%. We just need to give others 10%. Yaakov says, I guarantee you 20% of my children always be religious in the world. Until Mashiach. Today, if you look in America, there's 20% Jews religious. Look in Israel, 20% Jews religious. Europe, 20%. Even in Los Angeles, there's 20%. In every city, Yaakov says, 20% I'll give you. Those are the 20% that came out of Egypt. Chamushim alu. So it says here something amazing. Velo nacham Elohim derech eretz pelishtim. Velo nacham comes from the word lenachem otam baderech hanechona, to lead them. Not that Hashem had any remorse. Nechama. Lenachem, להנחיל אותם בדרך הנכונה. So why Hashem says that he doesn't want to lead them through the land of Philistine? כי קרוב היא, כי אמר אלוהים, פן ינחם העם בראותה מלחמה ושבו מצרימה. So technically, we don't know about any war, right? The Torah doesn't say there's a war with Philistine now. The people of Israel come out. But Hashem says, I don't want to take them through there. You know, in the book of Yechezkel, Yechezkel was the prophet, he was the son of Jeremiah. Yechezkel was his son. Yechezkel was one of the Galut Bavel, as we know. And Hashem revealed to him in the city of Tel Aviv. The first Tel Aviv was in Bavel, not in Israel. Yeah. That's where Hashem takes Yechezkel and bring him to Gaza of today. He says to him, you see all these dry bones here? Yechezkel says, yeah, I see. He says, do you believe I can bring them to life? Yechezkel is a prophet. You should say, sure. In chapter 37, Yechezkel says, if you say so to speak, like, you are Hashem, if you say. Hashem basically takes these 30,000 dead people and does Tchiyat HaMetim. Put skin on them, Gidim, everything. They rose and start talking and saying, Hodu L'Hashem ki tov, ki le'olam chazdo. Hashem did not want the people of Israel to go through this area because they're going to see 30,000 dead people because Hashem restored them in front of Yechezkel and then back to their position. Who were these 30,000? The Gemara there's one Gemara in Masechet Yoma, if I'm not mistaken, it says 300,000. Shevet Ephraim was the son of Yosef. 20 years before Yetziat Mitzrayim, 20 years before today's date, they left because they said, our father said, Pakod, Ifkod Otchem Elohim. Pakod in Gematria is 190. It says it's been 190 years. Ketz is 190. It's time to go. They said, let us go and buy the land of Israel. And Sheikh Knesset Agdolah, the Zkenim of Moshe Rabbeinu at the time, said to them, no, don't leave. It's not time. Because why Moshe says, Redu Shama. Redu is Gematria 210. Shama is Moshe, the letter, Hashem, and Moshe will take you out. It's not time to go. The Philistine killed all of them. Those are the bones of the Ephraim. Hashem says, why? Ki karovu. Who's Philistine? We have Shem, Ham, and Yafet, right? Noah had 6 kids. Noah had Shem, Et, the Torah says, Et Shem, Et Ham, ve'et Yafet. Every Et is a girl, a twin sister that married the brothers. Right? And then from Ham will come Egypt. Put, Kutim, Egypt, Canaan, and the Philistine. They're very close to Pharaoh. They want what Pharaoh wants, to destroy Israel. Hashem says, I'm not going to lead them in this path. The word that he's talking about is really something that's so amazing that's in the future. But Chazon HaAtzamot is really, in a sense, the first Tchiyat HaMetim. There were several Tchiyat HaMetim in the Torah. You heard of Eliyahu Navi? Zachur Letov? Who didn't? He had an assistant. Remember his assistant? Elisha. He says to him, I ask you, Eliyahu, please, make me double than you. I want to be better than you twice. Eliyahu Navi. He says, if you see me go in the chariot of fire, you will be double than me. Eliyahu Navi, in the Tanakh, he mentioned that he made 8 miracles. That was written. Elisha made actually exactly double, 16 miracles. And one of them, when he went to, a woman that actually was married to Chavakuk. To Obadiah. Obadiah Navi, as you know, his wife, the Shunammite, she had no kids. And when Elisha used to come there, she used to host him. And she saw that he was such a holy man, there's nothing on his bed. She goes, this is a holy man. So he always come, stop there. It was like the first Airbnb of the time after Abraham Avinu had the first Airbnb, right? We have Eshel, Achila, Shkia, Lena. But she asked him, he says, what can I ask Ish? What can I ask the king for you? She said, I don't have children. My husband is about to leave me. I need a child. But don't promise if you cannot do it. And he prays for her. First he sent Gehazi. Gehazi was not a good guy. He was a very bad assistant. He's one of the 4 that never went to heaven. And she said, give me a son. He says to her, Ka'et Chaya, next year, Choveket Ben. Choveket is Chavakuk, her son. Obadiah, just so you know, was a convert. His whole book of Obadiah is 21 sentences, 1 page. The prophecy. He has a son, Chavkuk. Chavkuk dies when he's young. His mother take him, he's dead. She puts him on the bed where Elisha sleeps, and she goes to him. She doesn't even tell her husband, our son is dead. And she yells at Elisha, says, well, you promised me a son. What is this? He's dead. I don't accept that. Of course, Elisha goes, and he says, show me the baby. It was not a baby. Some say it was 5 years old. Elisha closed the door behind him, and he go up on top of him, Vayighar alav, and he prays. Rabbi Netaneli HaKadosh, my teacher, you know Rabbi Netaneli here? He taught me something amazing. He says, when the Torah says nefesh tachat nefesh, ayin tachat ayin, pe tachat pe, it's really Elisha put his exactly everything on the baby, and he said, I'm giving him for my neshama, I give him for my nefesh, I'm giving him for my body, for my legs, for my eyes, and he revived him. When we say nefesh tachat nefesh, we are each other's grantor. You know, Kol Israel Aravim ze baze, not laze. Ze baze. We are each other's grantor. Can you imagine making Tchiyat HaMetim in seconds? He said that he prayed 7 times, and that's it. The baby, and he brought her back to her. This is Chavkuk Navi. We see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu here says, Vayasav Elohim et ha'am derech hamidbar yam suf, v'chamushim alu bnei Israel. Only 20%. Very good. So Chamushim has many explanations. The Gemara in one place says there were 5 kinds of weapons they had with them. What are the weapons? Some Kabbalah says is the 5 senses. Ivdu et Hashem besimcha. You know, when we work Hashem besimcha bechamisha, with 5 senses, right? How do you have tefillin? You have tefillin of the rosh, you have 4, right? Parchment, but the hand you have 1. Why? We have 4 senses in our head. We have the eyes, the sight, the hearing, the nose, the taste, and the hands. We have the touch. This is the tefillin. This is in this parasha at the end, right? I mean, the last parasha at the end. In Parashat Bo, the last thing is the tefillin. The other says, Chamushim, 20% only came out, and 80% passed away. Were buried in Makat Choshech. Okay? Chamushim also says that 50 Erev Rav came for every Hebrew. Okay? By the way, we'll know that it's true, because in the golden calf, what Hashem says to Moshe Rabbeinu, Lech red ki amcha shichat. No. B'shesh sha'ot, they miscalculated. But Hashem says to Moshe in Mount Sinai, it was Yudzayin Betamuz. He said, go, your people made a mistake. Chata. Not avon, not pesha. The people you took out, they make the golden calf. Here in our parasha, we know that Moshe Rabbeinu, instruct the people of Israel to take the seh, right? Seh is Taleh. Taleh is the sign of Pesach. Is the God of Egypt. Hashem says to the people of Israel, take it on the 10th of Nisan. By the way, Nisan is the only kosher car you can buy. It's in the Torah. It says, kosher, Nisan. Yeah. So Hashem says to him on the 10th of Yud ben Nisan, take the goat, Taleh, the lamb, and tie it to your bedpost. Not inside your tent, outside of your tent. It's the God of Egypt. When everybody's doing that, and then you're going to slaughter it on what we call Yudalet, which is the evening Korban Pesach. 4 days, Moshe Rabbeinu is dealing with finding the bones of Yosef. Cannot find them. The Midrash says he was crying. You know, by the way, when you say Midrash, many people take it lightly. Midrash is Moshe Darash. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave Moshe the whole Torah, the written Torah, the oral Torah, and the Zohar, the secret Torah. It says in Tehillim, Moshe Rabbeinu ala lamarom velakach shevi ba'adam. You heard that? Moshe Rabbeinu went lamarom, and he took a hostage. Shevi is a hostage. Shevi, Shimon Bar Yochai. He came back as Shimon Bar Yochai because when he broke the Luchot, he lost the oral Torah and the secret Torah. He only got the written Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu is looking now for Yosef, because Yosef, he said, Ashbeh Ashbia, he makes sure that all generation will promise to take his bones out. Unlike his father, Yaakov says, take me right away. It was 80 days. But Yosef, Tzaddik, says, I'll stay here, because the Galut, I'll be like the rabbi from Lubavitch. I'll be like the Baba Sali's father in Egypt or in Morocco. I'll be like the rabbis that always buried outside, because one day Mashiach come, we'll all come. It doesn't matter where you are. And Yosef, of course, we don't know where he's buried until Serach bat Asher. You know, that day, the people of Israel instructed to go and borrow from all the wealth of Egypt. Right? Originally, when Hashem says to Abraham Avinu in Brit Ben Abetarim, I'll give you rechush gadol. Rechush is in the Torah when he come out of Egypt. Abraham Avinu is a good Jew, so we need some bakshish. My children need some money. I mean, it's very hard to learn Torah if you're poor. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Beautiful. Chazaku Baruch. Chamushim, he says also the 5 books of Torah. Chamesh Chumshei Torah. So now, the people of Israel taking everything. The question is asked. Hashem says, please, ask. The Torah says, please ask them to borrow stuff. And they will give it to you. They'll be chen. They will like you. Imagine I'm your slave for 210 years. And I ask you for all your wealth. And I, as a slave, have 0 rights to ask for anything, right? You have no rights as a slave. But the Egyptian says, okay, we'll give it to you. The question is how? They say, I know exactly where you hide everything. In Makat Choshech, we went around, we saw everything. You have this in this drawer, and you have this gold, and you have this. If I wanted to take it, I would steal it. You could not see anything for 6 days. So we're just going for 3 days. Come back, we'll borrow. Everybody got so rich. Moshe is crying. Come Serach bat Asher, as she is one of the 10 that went to the heaven alive, as we know, the Gemara will tell us. And she sings to Moshe and she reveals to him, actually Yosef is in the Nile. They buried him in 500 kikar barzel. Imagine, his coffin was 500 kilos of metals in the middle of the Nile. Nilus, the word Nilus is lowness, right? The miracle that happened to Yosef. Every time he came, the water rose to him. Moshe was saved by the Nilus, right? Also, who find Moshe? Batya, Teva, right? It's the same letter. He was in the Teva, Batya. In a sense, comes Serach and says, look, he's right there. Moshe takes a tass of gold and he writes, Ale Shor Ale, rise, ox, rise, and he put the name Hashem HaMeforash. He throw it into the water. 500 kilo of metal comes up. Moshe takes his bone. He puts it, the Gemara says that he put it inside the skin of the taleh. They just did Korban Pesach. So he took the bones Who wants to carry 500 kilos, right? He put it on him. Hence, this is Pesach Sheni. Moshe gave it to the Levites. The Levites were not kosher now, right? Tameim. You cannot do Pesach if you tameh. They had to hold the bones of Yosef. This is the change from Bereshit. The people of Levi says, אנחנו צריכים גם Pesach, Pesach Sheni, right? Until exactly 30 days. In 14 of Iyar. It says the Zohar Kadosh something amazing. When Sarah came to speak to him, Moshe was crying. And Hashem says, Chayecha. Everybody's getting rich, but I'll make you richer than anybody. Next week's parasha, we'll see in Yitro, Moshe Rabbeinu, he breaks the Luchot, right? On the 17th of Tammuz. Right? He went from the 7th of Sivan, 40 days, 17th of Tammuz. He comes, he breaks the Luchot. Why? He doesn't want the people of Israel to be obligated by them. Because if you give the Luchot, what's the first thing? Anochi Hashem Elokecha. Lo yeh lecha Elohim acherim. Lo tisa. Everything that against Hashem is in the golden calf. You know how the golden calf spoke? Moshe saved one baby. You know, when Moshe came to, Hashem says to him in Parashat Vayera, go to Egypt, right? And Moshe complained. He said, they made their life worse. Elohim, lama hariot alahem. Why did he say Elohim complains? Lama hariot alahem. Says the Baal HaTurim, Elohim answered him with Elohim. Amarta lama hariot alahem, Yoshua machnisam. You complain, you're not coming to the land of Israel. Yoshua will bring them in. Moshe asked, why are you putting babies into the teeth, into the cement? Because, now they have to make 400 regardless if they don't even get the items. Moshe Rabbeinu begs Hashem to save this baby. There were many babies. Vayzaku el Hashem is because that's when people care for each other. They see this family's baby and this baby all put. Moshe did not understand. Hashem says, you don't know. You were not there in Bereshit with me. Begs, he takes this baby and he saved him. This baby, Micha, stole the tass of gold and gave it to Yunius and Yumbrius, the children of Bilaam, to make the golden calf. Because it was named Hashem HaMeforash. And Ale Shor Ale, rise, ox, arise. That's the same golden calf. Moshe Rabbeinu, in a sense, asked Hashem, again, complaining. Hashem revealed to him, you know who is all the babies that went into the walls? There's Dor HaPalaga. You heard of the Tower of Babel? You know where it is? In Egypt, the pyramids. This is the Tower of Babel. Yeah. Here's the first people that said, Hava ve nilbena lanu levenim. Let us make stone. They were giants. The people of the Dor HaPalaga, they're not like us. They were Nephilim. They built the pyramids because they didn't want God. Hashem took them as a measure of a measure. They wanted to make the brick, they became the brick. Midah keneged midah. How are we doing on time? We have mincha now? Or? 2 minutes. Okay, so we'll skip a little bit. HaKadosh Baruch Hu kamuvan has the first Kippat Barzel, as we know. We have Hashem moves, the Amud HaEsh and Amud HaAnan. He switched between them. Here comes Paro. Paro originally says 3 days, right? Moshe keeps saying to him 3 days, we'll come back. After 3 days, they left Egypt on Thursday. Yetziat Mitzrayim was Thursday morning. We have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They're not coming back. Vayugad lemelech Mitzrayim. Why Hashem calls him Melech Mitzrayim? It was so bad. He says, Vayehafech levav Paro. Paro actually started the tshuva. Only in Makat Arbe, Paro says, I know God now. I sin to him. I will even give you korbanot for me. Levav is Bavel. Pharaoh was the only one that will be saved in the Yam Suf. And he will become the king of Nineveh. Yonah will come to him to make him tshuva, and he did. The essence of Yam Suf, as we know, Kriyat Yam Suf happened on the 7th day of Pesach. Yam Suf, why it's called Yam Suf? First, the people of Israel did not cross Yam Suf. They went in and out in half a circle. 12 portions. 12 גזרים. Yam Suf is Yam, Israel מתחילים. This is the beginning of the people of Israel. Sof, Paro. That's the end of Egypt. By going through the Yam Suf is really the mikveh, because now I will finish, Be'ezat Hashem, we are all part of the people of Israel. We're all Egyptian. There is no Ashkenaz, no Sephardim, no this. We're all Egyptian. When somebody asks you, who are you? Tell them I'm Jewish. I'm Bnei Israel. I want to dedicate this class again to your father, Be'ezat Hashem, Rabbi Aharon ben Zohara. May Hashem ibn Aliyah. And I want to say just 3 things that I know about his father. He can tell you a lot more after, Be'ezat Hashem, when you eat. But his father was a man of tzedakah, baseter. He was giving tzedakah, nobody knew for years. He did Kabbalat Orchim in his house, people never left. People came a whole day. They came for an hour, they stayed a whole day. And he loved one thing, besamim. He loved to raise all the things that he can pray besamim on. You know, besamim, we light light the Havdalah, and we smell the besamim. Why? We send the neshama that we get every Shabbat back to the heavens. So Be'ezat Hashem, I want to thank Rabbi Liliado and everybody. Thank you.